Many of us ran around Odyssey in this spiffy archaeologist outfit without giving it much thought. Those who did look up where it originated from would encounter a series of Mario and Nintendo-themed Picross games. What's Picross, you ask? I have no idea. I didn't have the game when I was younger, unfortunately. But looking into it now, it does remind me of Paint by Numbers. And looking into it further and pulling it up on Wikipedia, it appears it is similar. Quote, "Nonograms, also known as Picross or gridlers, are picture logic puzzles in which cells in a grid must be colored or left blank, according to numbers at the side of the grid, to reveal a hidden picture." So what's interesting about this series of Picross games is that we only got one of them in the United States for the longest time. It was Mario's Picross on the Game Boy. And in the game, an archaeologist-themed Mario solved various puzzles. In later installments, Wario was added into the fray. But the reason I bring up all of this is because it was sort of a bizarre thing. It was almost Dr. Mario-esque. Mario was shoehorned into a random role, and we just played the game as is. That's not where our story ends though, because although the game was simple in nature, there was some supporting Mario lore to go along with it. There's actually a comic called Mario's Picross, which dives a little deeper into what our mustache hero is doing on his archaeological adventure. Once again, we're diving into the German world of Club Nintendo and the wacky array of bizarre comics it had. As always, a huge shout out to the folks over at OpenTrain for their translations of these comics so we can enjoy them in English today. Without further ado though, let's jump into Mario's Picross. Our journey begins with Mario catching a flight over the desert with the well-renowned Coupe Air. He's on vacation and is traveling over a sea of sand where he spots two pyramids below. He's really excited to land and overall just enjoy the vacation he's currently on. Shortly after daydreaming, Bowser dressed as a steward approaches and tells Mario that they'll soon be offering the first adventure he paid for. Mario thinks this is an exotic meal, but quickly realizes he's in trouble when Bowser informs him it's actually a hardcore adventure landing. The chair flips to the right, and Mario is thrown out of the plane thousands of feet into the air as he plummets to his death. This is why we didn't receive any more Picross games. Mario never recovered from this. Or did he? Well, as it turns out, Bowser thanks Mario for flying and tosses his luggage out with him. As Mario plummets to the ground, he magically grabs the edge of a statue's nose and tears it off in the process. Mind you, this should have rightfully broken both his arms and then killed him. But it's Mario after all. Something to note here is that the place Mario lands in is actually Egypt, and this is confirmed later. The monument he damages actually exists in real life too. It's the Great Sphinx of Giza. This monument is currently missing its nose too, so now we finally have comedic closure on how it actually lost it. Mario comments about how the Sphinx looks better without a nose, as he quickly changes into his archaeologist gear. He spots some nearby camels that he plans on using for transportation, but immediately after getting dressed, a bunch of natives begin charging at him, condemning him for breaking the nose of the Sphinx. They also claim he looks like Indiana Jones, which is a punishable offense. Mario freaks out and begins sprinting towards the nearest camel, which just happens to be green like Yoshi. He jumps on the camel's back and tells it to take off. And so, the camel sprints away so fast that Mario is eventually ripped from its back and tossed into the wind. He's soon captured and thrown to a cell by the enraged Egyptians, or so the comic states. Despite being locked up though, it says that Mario was able to find an escape from the cell. It doesn't say how, so I'm just guessing there was a gaping plot hole in the back. Mario recovers his equipment, and then begins wandering through the halls of the pyramid. After he runs into a dead end, he begins to lose hope, before rekindling his spirit. He stumbles upon a sarcophagus though, which slowly begins to open. A mummy emerges praising the fresh air it just stepped into, after being trapped for centuries. It also wants to eat Mario, so there's that. But Mario is far too clever for this silly mummy. He's already wrapped himself in toilet paper, and the mummy mistakes Mario for a colleague. Mario then points the mummy in the wrong direction as he takes off running. But alas, our poor Mario runs into a challenging puzzle. Some hieroglyphics that showcase a Game Boy, Super Nintendo controller, and the Super Nintendo mouse. Mario begins pressing the buttons in random orders to see if he can guess the combination. Apparently though, he only had to hit the buttons in order from left to right, and his prize is once again plummeting to his death. The first comic ends, and the second begins. The comic starts with Mario falling down a very deep hole until he eventually crashes into rock bottom. He recovers in complete darkness as tears of pain roll from his eyes, and then he discovers a door in front of him that leads into tons of light. Beyond this door is an amazing treasure, almost like those really sweet sealed rooms in Luigi's mansion. Mario immediately goes for a black box, and inside is something absolutely unbelievable. But we never get to know what is inside of it. However, perhaps this is a reference to the Ark of the Covenant and how it is being represented in Indiana Jones. Seeing as there was a reference earlier, it makes sense that this comic would parody it in some ways. Mario of course picks up the chest to take it back with him, but a strange clicking noise startles him. He also breaks the fourth wall and talks about the editors of the comic. He quickly shoves the chest in his backpack, as a chomp rock from Yoshi's Island bursts through the door. He begins sprinting away as fast as he can, while the rock gets closer and closer. Mario breaks out onto the railroad tracks and begins sprinting down them while predicting that this crazy comic is going to spawn a train coming his way. Luckily, he stumbles upon a minecart though, and is saved. Or so he thinks. While he celebrates his brief moment of relief, as he compares his minecart to a Porsche, his happy demeanor turns to dread, as the railroad tracks lead straight into a wall. The minecart blows through the side of the pyramid, and Mario is launched from the cart. He lands face first into the sand, and wiggles out to see a nearby camel eyeing him down. He accidentally insults the camel before realizing it was the same one as before, and then it dawns on him that he just screwed up. Before Mario can finish making excuses, the camel kicks Mario high into the air and out of sight. In the next scene, we see Mario wandering through the desert, which is conveniently labeled on a wooden sign. Mario has been wandering around for hours without seeing anyone, and he's dying of thirst. Out of nowhere, a man jumps out and compliments Mario on his safari outfit, before trying to sell him a necktie to go with it. Mario erupts in fury as he claims he wants a cold soda and not a silly necktie. He tells the salesman to bugger off before continuing. Soon after though, he discovers an oasis and he's immediately relieved. However, he is denied access to the oasis because he isn't wearing a necktie. Mario explodes again, saying he isn't going to wear a necktie for this third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck. Quickly, Mario is punted like a football into the sky, as the waiter claims he should bugger off. However, Mario finds himself launching out of bed and skipping off the ground. He passes over Luigi, who awakes Don't Wake Daddy style and claims that a truck ran over him. Mario then goes to the kitchen with his brother to grab a soda because it was all a dream. Or perhaps it wasn't a dream after all. The black chest is placed in the kitchen beside them as the comic comes to a close. This comic was interesting to me in general, mainly because the Mario Picross series is something we didn't really get to experience much in the States. Beyond that, there was an entire collection of Picross games, themed off of things like Super Mario 64, and other games that only had a limited run. Perhaps I'll cover those in a different video. But ultimately, I enjoyed this because it offered some story context to Mario's outfit in the game, despite there not being much story at all from it. It makes me enjoy the outfit in Odyssey a lot more now. But now that I've dumped that on all of you, I'd of course love to hear your thoughts. What do you think of this comic in particular? What do you think was really inside the black box? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, thanks for tuning in to this desert adventure. Perhaps you enjoy some of this other Mario lore that is almost complete nonsense. They'll probably give you a chuckle. Anyways, thanks for watching guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers.